The Galactic Council chamber was silent except for the faint hum of the Great Dome's energy shields. Rows of alien delegates sat in their tall, curved seats, their faces calm but their eyes sharp. From a distance, it looked like peace. In the middle of the chamber, hidden under polite smiles and soft voices, something darker was moving. Earth's ambassador, Daniel Reeve, sat at his place near the far end of the circle. He had been in this chamber many times, but today felt different. His instincts, sharpened by years of service, told him something was wrong. The council's attention seemed to slide away from him too quickly, like they were hiding a secret he wasn't supposed to notice. Across the table, a tall insectoid delegate was speaking about balance and order. It sounded like harmless political talk, but Daniel could feel the careful choice of words. Every sentence was pointing toward a quiet conclusion that Earth was dangerous. He kept his expression still, but his mind was racing in his pocket. A small communicator vibrated. He glanced down briefly, hiding the movement with a slow sip from his glass. A coded message scrolled across the tiny screen. The words were simple but cold. Betrayal confirmed. Fleet movements toward Sol System have begun. His fingers tightened. Around the glass, on Earth, the message would already be in the hands of the President and the Defense Council. The spy who sent it had risked their life inside the alien military's network. Daniel knew that if the Council suspected, they would erase the spy before anyone could act. But the message was enough. The game had changed. Daniel forced himself to listen as the alien speaker finished, and another delegate began. This time a reptilian voice dripping with false courtesy. We must consider whether Earth is ready for the responsibilities it claims. A young species, eager but perhaps too eager. Every phrase was like a knife covered in silk. Daniel understood now. They weren't just talking. They were preparing the chamber for a public announcement, something that would turn the galaxy against Earth. He imagined the fleets already moving through the dark, engines cold to avoid detection, heading for human colonies. Far away in the command center beneath Washington, the president stood before a wall of glowing maps. The Sol System was displayed in brilliant holographic detail, each planet surrounded by markers showing alien fleet projections. Advisors spoke in sharp, urgent voices, debating how to respond. Then the president raised a hand. Vanish them, she said. Within minutes, Earth's fleets disappeared from every known scanner. One by one, human warships switched to deep cloak mode, cutting all signals. Civilian stations received quiet orders to go silent and lock down. It was as if Earth had simply gone dark. To the Council's intelligence network, it would look like fear or surrender. But to the humans, it was the first step. Back in the Council chamber, Daniel kept his calm mask in place. He even smiled faintly when a nearby delegate tried to provoke him. But in his mind, he was counting the seconds. Every delay here gave Earth's forces more time to vanish and prepare. Outside the chamber, above the great station that floated in the starless void, a single black ship broke orbit. It was unlike any official human design. No markings, no lights, no transponder signal. It slipped into the darkness between the stars without a sound. Those who saw it didn't know whether it was human or even real. Hours later, in the uncharted deep, the black ship sent a narrow beam transmission. The message was so short that it could have been dismissed as static, but to those who understood the code, it was clear. Phase 1 begins now. On a distant mining colony, lights flickered as hidden weapon systems came online. Frozen moons. Tunnel's soldiers stepped from cryopods with frost still clinging to their armor. In the high atmosphere of a gas giant, a squadron of drones detached from their hiding place inside a civilian cargo platform. All over the galaxy, the sleeping pieces of a plan began to wake. But in the council chamber, there was no sign of this. The alien delegates continued their speeches, carefully circling the conclusion they wanted, that Earth must submit or be destroyed. Daniel listened to every word, not because he needed to, but because he wanted them to think they were winning. In truth, the humans were already moving. The betrayal was real, and the trap had been set, just not the trap the Council thought. Far beyond their reach, Earth's fleet was waiting, hidden in the black, listening for the signal that would change everything. And when it came, there would be no debate, no vote, no warning. Only silence. The official announcement came at the council's next session. The great chamber was full, every seat occupied by alien leaders from 100 worlds. A low hum of voices filled the air like the sound of an approaching storm. The council speaker, a towering avian figure with feathers like polished metal, raised both wings for silence. Members of the Galactic Council, the speaker began. Voice calm but edged with authority, we have reached a decision regarding the matter of Earth. Daniel Reeve, Earth's ambassador, sat motionless. He already knew what was coming, but he needed to hear every word. The speaker's eyes swept across the room. After a careful review, the speaker continued, we find Earth guilty of violating interstellar law. We have no choice but to demand their immediate surrender of all military assets. Refusal will result in removal. The word hung in the air like smoke. It was not war they were declaring. It was erasure. A few delegates looked uncomfortable, but most remained silent. They had already decided. Daniel rose slowly from his chair. Earth will review your decision, he said in a steady voice. We will respond in due time. He left without looking back. No one tried to stop him. They thought they had already won. Hours later, across the galaxy, alien fleets began moving into position. Massive warships slipped from orbital docks, their drives lighting up like angry suns. Patrol cruisers gathered in formation. Carriers released swarms of smaller craft, their hangar bays glowing with weapon systems warming to life. But in the Sol system, something strange happened. Instead of mobilizing for battle, Earth transmitted a short, simple message on open channels. We surrender. The Council fleet slowed, surprised. Could it be this easy? Scouts reported human ships powered down, drifting. Civilian traffic was grounded. Even the orbital defense platforms seemed dead. From a distance, Earth looked like it had given up. What the Council didn't know was that the message was a trap. The surrender signal contained hidden pulses too faint for alien sensors to notice. Those pulses were the key that woke an invisible network. In the darkness beyond Neptune's orbit, satellites that had been cold for decades suddenly came alive. Their panels unfolded like metal flowers, catching faint starlight. On their surfaces, strange black symbols glowed. They began transmitting to each other in bursts too quick for the Council's systems to follow. Far from any star, the black ship from before drifted in the void. Inside, a single figure sat at the controls. His face was pale in the dim light of the screens, his eyes fixed on streams of coded data. When the last sequence arrived, he pressed one button. A burst of energy shot from the ship into the silent dark, traveling faster than light. Across hidden outposts, the signal was received. Weapons sealed for years unlocked. Hangars opened. Submerged fleets rose from oceans on forgotten moons. Back near Earth, civilian stations received quiet updates. Families packed emergency bags, transport ships silently rerouted to safe zones. Soldiers in plain clothes vanished from crowded streets. Already on their way to unknown rendezvous points, the Council's spies in human space watched all this and sent back confusing reports. They are surrendering, but they are moving. We do not understand. The alien commanders dismissed the reports. In their minds, humans were inexperienced, overconfident, and weak. They believed the war was already over. That belief would not survive the next day. From his office in the underground command complex, the President of Earth watched the fleet movements on a massive display. The alien ships were closing in, their formations neat and confident. She turned to her advisors. Phase 1 is complete, she said. Begin Phase 2. Somewhere in the blackness between the stars, the mysterious ship sent a second message. This time, it contained only 3 words. Phase 1 complete. The alien fleets entered human space without resistance. Their warships moved in perfect formation, their hulls reflecting the cold light of distant suns. For the Council's admirals, it was an easy mission. The humans had powered down there. Defenses sent a surrender message. and shown no signs of preparing for battle. The lead fleet crossed the orbit of Neptune, its sensors sweeping ahead. Reports came in. No human ships, no defense platforms active, no orbital weapons online. It was as if the Sol system had fallen asleep. The alien commander, a four-eyed veteran of 100 campaigns, gave the order to advance at full speed. His officers smiled, but 20 minutes later, smiles began to fade. A patrol corvette at the edge of the formation simply vanished from sensors. No explosion, no distress call. It was there 1 second, gone the next. The commander ordered a scan, thinking it was a technical fault. The scans came back clean. The corvette was just gone. Then a cruiser disappeared. Panic started to ripple through the fleet. Ships began reporting strange shadows in the darkness, brief flashes of movement that sensors couldn't track. One officer swore he saw a human ship for half a second before it melted back into the black. Without warning, the fleet's rear line erupted in fire. 3 destroyers exploded almost at the same moment, their debris spinning into the void. The Council ships turned to face the attack, but there was nothing there. No enemy ships. No visible weapons fire. Inside the command deck of one alien cruiser, alarms screamed. A voice shouted over the comms. "We are under attack by nothing. I repeat, nothing visible." The captain's last words were cut off as the ship's core went critical and tore it apart. In truth, the humans were everywhere. Their ships were cloaked in ways the Council's scanners couldn't detect, their weapons firing from positions calculated to be invisible to standard tracking. They would strike in seconds, vanish, and reappear in an entirely different vector. The alien commander finally saw it for himself. A brief, jagged outline of a human warship sliding out of the darkness like a ghost. The ship fired once. Single beam of compressed energy slicing through an enemy battleship as if it were paper. Then the human vessel dissolved into the black again. Across the Council fleet, chaos reigned. Ships broke formation, trying to escape unseen attackers. Some fired wildly into empty space. Others called for reinforcements that would never arrive. Then the humans sent their first message. It was broadcast directly into the alien commander's personal channel. The voice was calm, steady, and unmistakably human. "You think we are?" "Fighting to win," it said. "You are wrong. We are fighting to erase you." Moments later, the alien flagship's sensors went blind. A human missile, invisible until the last fraction of a second, struck its main reactor. The explosion lit up the void, casting long shadows across the dying fleet. And somewhere, far from the battle, in the Council's deepest command center, a young alien officer turned to her superior with wide eyes. "Sir," she whispered, "we have underestimated them." In the grand chamber of the Galactic Council, the usual atmosphere of calculated calm had vanished. Delegates shouted over one another in dozens of alien tongues, their voices echoing off the towering walls. The great dome above, normally a serene display of drifting constellations, now flickered with urgent red warnings. The Council speaker pounded a clawed hand on the desk, demanding silence, but the noise continued. Reports had been pouring in for hours. Entire fleets cut off mid-communication, capital ships disappearing from sensors, outposts going dark without explanation. None of it made sense to them. An aide rushed to the speaker's side, carrying a glowing data tablet. "Another update from the Sol incursion fleet," the aide said, struggling to keep her voice steady. "Sir, there is no fleet. It's gone. All of it." The speaker's crest feathers rose in alarm. "Gone? Do you mean destroyed?" The aide hesitated. "No, just gone. Last transmissions show ships being struck by weapons we cannot identify, then nothing." Across the chamber, a serpent-like delegate hissed. "This is impossible. Humans do not have such technology. We have studied them for decades." Daniel Reeves' seat was empty. The human ambassador had not attended today's meeting. At first, the Council assumed it was a petty protest against their decision. But now, his absence felt like a warning they had failed to notice. Another delegate. This one from a species of crystalline forms, spoke in a voice that hummed like breaking glass. If the humans are capable of such actions, then we must open peace talks immediately. Every hour we delay risks. They attacked us first. Interrupted a hulking, armored alien from the war clans. This is war. We retreat now. Our people will see us as cowards. The chamber's floor shook slightly. It wasn't an earthquake. The council's station was deep in empty space, shielded from such things. No, this was something else. A moment later, the lights flickered, just once. But enough for everyone to notice. Then a massive holographic display appeared in the center of the chamber. No one had activated it. The image was of a city, but not an alien one. It was an alien capital, one of the council's own core worlds. Now under human control, the image zoomed in. Boots, human boots, marching through alien streets. No chaos, no fires, no bombs, just quiet, disciplined occupation. The camera angle shifted to show alien citizens standing frozen in silence as human soldiers passed by. Their armor black and unmarked, their visors hiding their faces. There was no sound on the broadcast until a single voice cut through. It was deep, calm, and in the galactic standard tongue. Your fleets are gone, your worlds are open. This is only the beginning. The image faded to black, replaced by a simple timer counting down from 24 hours. The chamber was silent now. Number. One shouted. No one moved. They all knew what the timer meant, and somewhere in the darkness beyond their reach, the humans were already preparing their next move. The black ship drifted back into known space, like a shadow slipping out of a dream. No transponder signal, no engine signature, just a dark shape gliding through the void toward the largest relay station in the galaxy. Inside, the single pilot sat in silence, his gloved hand resting on a covered switch. When the ship reached the perfect distance, he pressed it. Every communications channel across 100 worlds went dead for 3 seconds. Then they all came, back at once, carrying only one transmission. The Council, merchant fleets, civilian stations, even distant mining colonies all received the same feed, a view of Earth from orbit. The image was crisp, bright, almost peaceful. Then a voice spoke over it, deep and clear, in perfect galactic standard. You wanted war? Now you will see our war. The feed shifted to show fleets, human fleets, emerging from cloak. Not just around Earth, but around 3 alien homeworlds. At the same time, massive carriers, silent destroyers, missile platforms bristling with weapons. They moved with perfect precision. Every formation already in place before the alien defenders even noticed. In the council chamber, gasps and whispers filled the air. The speaker leaned forward, eyes wide. How? How are they moving so fast? He muttered. Dot on the screens, the human armadas advanced around the first alien homeworld. Their ships slipped between planetary defense grids like they were stepping through an open door. At the second, they bypassed orbital guns entirely, appearing inside the innermost security zone without triggering a single alarm. At the third, they simply shut down the planet's power from orbit. Back on Earth, in the deep command bunker, the president stood in front of her war council. Ew. The council thought they knew our limits, she said. Now we show them the truth. Across the galaxy, alien military leaders scrambled to respond. Orders were shouted, fleets were called, defensive shields raised, but it was already too late. The humans had positioned themselves perfectly. Timer appeared on every occupied world's main communications. Hub 24 hours, 0 minutes, and 0 seconds. The same timer ticking in. The council's own chamber. The voice returned. You have 24 hours to sign unconditional surrender and dismantle every weapon capable of reaching human space. Refuse, and there will be nothing left to refuse with. For the first time in living memory, the council chamber fell completely. Silent. No debates. No speeches. Just the quiet sound of the countdown. In a corner of the galaxy, far from any star, the black ship turned and vanished into deep space once more. The 24-hour countdown began, and the Council scrambled in a frenzy. Every fleet within reach of human space was mobilized, weapons charged, engines pushed to their limits. Alien admirals barked orders in dozens of languages, trying to coordinate what they hoped would be a decisive strike. At first, the humans did nothing. Their fleets remained hidden, cloaked, and silent, waiting for the Council to make the first move. Panic and overconfidence played into Earth's hands. Then, without warning, the first strike hit. A massive warship, one of the Council's most advanced dreadnoughts, jumped into soul space, expecting to catch the humans off guard. It was met by nothing. No laser fire, no torpedoes, nothing at all. It drifted past Mars, confused, and then the sensors lit up. Hundreds of human vessels had emerged from hiding. The dreadnought fired its main guns, but it was too slow. Human missiles, invisible until the last moment, struck simultaneously at every critical system. Engines exploded, weapons arrays were shredded, and the ship's shields collapsed like glass. Within seconds, it was a burning wreck, drifting toward the asteroid belt. The rest of the alien fleet panicked. They tried to regroup, but Earth's strategy was already complete. Human warships appeared at every choke point from the asteroid, belt to the Kuiper belt, striking wherever enemy forces concentrated. Cloaked destroyers flanked cruisers, missile swarms overwhelmed defenses, and precision energy beams cut through shields and holes with terrifying efficiency. On the Council's capital, reports flooded in. Entire fleets vanished in minutes. Colonies were cut off, and supply lines destroyed. Leaders argued over strategy, but every plan failed. Every calculation underestimated humanity. Above the Sol system, the Black Ship returned once more, transmitting a live feed to every Council station. On it, human pilots moved with calm precision, almost like dancers. Every strike was calculated, every maneuver exact. Civilian ships moved alongside warships, evacuated colonies silently and efficiently. The voice returned, calm and commanding. This is the price of underestimating Earth. By the time the countdown reached 12 hours, the Council's fleets were broken. Some ships attempted retreat, but were intercepted. Others were trapped between planetary defenses and human forces that seemed to be everywhere at once. For the first time in galactic history, a single civilization had turned the mightiest Council fleets into helpless prey. Panic and disbelief rippled through every Council member, and yet the humans did not stop. They moved with terrifying precision, striking targets the Council didn't even know existed. Hidden bases, command centers, supply hubs. Entire star systems were paralyzed without a single human casualty reported in the Council chamber. Delegates sat in stunned silence. The speaker's feathers drooped, a rare sign of despair. We underestimated them, he whispered. Far from the chaos on Earth, the president watched the battle unfold on massive screens. She turned to her advisors. Phase 2 is over, she said, eyes cold. Prepare Phase 3. They think they've seen our power. They have not. The Council was broken. Their fleets were shattered, entire star systems cut off, and key worlds under silent human occupation. Panic had replaced pride, and fear had replaced strategy. Delegates argued, shouted, and accused one another of failures that no one could fix. The speaker, normally calm and commanding, sat slumped over the podium, his metallic feathers dulled. We cannot withstand them, he admitted, his voice trembling. They are everywhere. Every calculation, every prediction, all wrong. At that moment, a deep voice echoed through the Council chamber. Not from a delegate, not from a speaker, but from the open communications channel. It was human. You have one chance remaining, the voice said. Surrender unconditionally. Dismantle your fleets and hand over all weapon systems capable of reaching human space. Refuse, and you will cease to exist. The chamber erupted in confusion and fear. Delegates screamed and tried to shut down the feed, but it continued, calm and relentless. The countdown timer appeared again. 12 hours remaining. Every attempt at resistance failed. Secret weapons caches were destroyed before they could be deployed. Fleets attempting to escape were intercepted and neutralized with precision. Every corner of the galaxy that the Council once controlled was now vulnerable in desperation. The Council called for a full-scale counterattack, concentrating all remaining forces on Earth's orbital defenses. Massive ships charged towards Sol, their weapons bristling, energy beams glowing. For the first time, the humans responded directly. From orbit, hundreds of Earth ships emerged from cloaks. Carriers released squadrons of fighter drones, destroyers, fired volleys of missiles, and energy beams sliced through alien shields as though they were paper. Entire fleets disintegrated within minutes, leaving nothing but wreckage drifting in silence. On the Council's homeworlds, news arrived that human forces had already taken control of critical infrastructure, communication hubs, defense grids, and even key government buildings. Alien populations were stunned. No resistance remained. The speaker finally addressed the chamber. We have no choice. We surrender. Across the galaxy, a unified signal confirmed it. Earth's voice broadcast one final message. The Council's betrayal summoned Earth's fleet. You tested us. You lost. Humanity's reach is limitless. Let this be the last time any species underestimates Earth. Silence followed. The galaxy had never known such absolute victory. No celebrations, no boasts, only quiet acknowledgement of the humans' unmatched power. Far from Sol, the black ship drifted into the void, its mission complete. The pilot activated the stealth systems, fading into darkness, leaving the galaxy to contemplate the civilization it had just underestimated. Humanity had answered.
Ow!
The message was clear. The Council had been silenced, and the universe would never forget Earth. The galaxy was quiet. For the first time in centuries, no fleets patrolled the stars in fear of human retaliation. Systems once under Council control were rebuilding, but now under Earth's watchful gaze. The humans did not conquer, enforced order, ensuring that no civilization could rise again to challenge them without consequence. In the Galactic Council chambers, now empty and abandoned, echoes of panic lingered like a shadow. Former delegates had fled, hidden, or surrendered. The speaker, once proud and commanding, lived in exile, a reminder of what happened when arrogance met preparation and resolve. Back on Earth, life returned to a new rhythm. Cities buzzed with activity, but the citizens knew their world had changed forever. The leaders of humanity convened in the High Command Tower, reviewing reports from across the galaxy. Every system, every fleet, every potential threat had been accounted for. The president stood by the window, looking at the stars. "We've sent a message," she said quietly. "Not just to the Council, but to every species that might think of challenging us. Humanity is ready." Her advisors nodded, understanding that Earth's rise was no longer just about survival. It was about respect demanded, earned, and undeniable, in orbit above Mars. The black ship, now a symbol of Earth's reach, drifted silently. Its pilot prepared for new missions, knowing the galaxy was vast and full of potential threats. Yet the message had been made clear. Earth would answer any provocation with precision, patience, and unmatched force. Across the stars, whispers began among other civilizations. Some spoke in fear, others in awe. Humanity had proven itself not just capable of defending its home, but of reshaping the balance of power in the galaxy and on Earth. The citizens went about their lives, unaware of the silent watch kept in the void above. They had no idea how close they had come to total annihilation, or how the galaxy now knew that underestimating humanity was the gravest mistake any species could make. The universe had changed. Humanity was no longer just a planet-bound species. They were a force. They were a warning, and somewhere far beyond the reaches of known space, the Council's betrayal was remembered as a lesson written in starlight, a lesson Earth would never forget. The galaxy had learned its place.